here. And other people join, great. All right, so just our agenda today for the next half hour. We're going to do a quick just upfront about PlusPlus in case you're not super familiar with who we are. But don't worry, we won't be spending too much time in slides. We'll be diving into the demo shortly thereafter, where we'll be kind of going through the major functionalities of PlusPlus. And just the idea is giving you kind of a taste of the platform. Hopefully pique some curiosity and maybe bring up some questions that you might have. If you have any questions during the demo, hold on to them, throw them into the chat. And that way, no matter what, maybe if you have to jump early, I will answer those questions and we'll send you the recording afterwards. So if you had to leave early, you will see you'll see the answers in the recording. So again, if you have any questions, and hopefully you have a lot, hang on to them or throw them into the chat, and I will definitely get to them at the end of the conversation. And then we'll also just be promoting an upcoming event that we have around AI and enablement. AI is all the rage. So how do you incorporate that into your job? We'll be having a conversation about that in mid-September, if I remember correctly. Stick around for that as well. Okay, so some core values about PlusPlus. These are really the guiding principles that we keep in mind when building a platform. So number one is, we're firm believers that people learn best from each other. And so we want to make a place where people can either, spread that knowledge to many in the form of events, one-to-one, maybe mentorship or some sort of coaching, or leaving it there for people to find at their own time. So a video, a compliments page, another cloud, a cloud doc, or maybe a code lab. So the thing to take away though is that, which kind of dovetails right into the next one here, everyone can be an expert, right? We all have our strengths, and providing a platform where people can share that and help lift others up is important. This next one, access to learning must be easy. Our biggest competitor in our day-to-day is time, right? We only have so much time in the day. And when we're on the job, our time is typically prioritized to doing our job, right? And so if people are going to take the time to better themselves or learn something new or whatever it might be, access to that must be easy. So we don't want the friction to be in finding it. And so, Plus keeps that in mind. And then automation creates added value. So we automate a lot of the manual logistical tasks so you can focus on the stuff that really matters, like creating content and promoting your work and improving on it. So there's three things in PlusPlus I just kind of talked about there. Number one is live events. So this is transferring knowledge one to many, whether they be in person, remote, or some sort of hybrid version of that. Live events is one of those modalities. On-demand content is another one. So that's everything from cloud docs to videos to wiki pages to e-learning to code labs. Anything that someone can take kind of at their leisure is or just at least asynchronously is what we consider on demand. And then people, people are your experts or your champions. They're the ones that, if I'm new to the company, I'm reaching out, trying to find, who should I know? So making sure that people also have a place alongside content. And so what PlusPlus does is, number one, you can kind of have those all stand alone and be something that I engage with individually. But where we really see this, sort of take the next step is when you create a curated program like an onboarding experience or a new manager program, or maybe there's a technology within your company that you want to kind of create, some sort of powerful experience around it. And so blending these components into a longer arc program is where you really can unlock a lot of that tacit knowledge. And that's where I'm going to start actually with the demo is around these blended learning experiences. All right, so see, I told you it was quick. Now I'm going to dive in and we will focus on the platform. All right, so the first place I'm going is my hub. My hub is going to be your home page in PlusPlus. This is everything about you. So you can always come back, always come back here to understand, like, what do I have upcoming? What events do I have upcoming that I've been enrolled to or I've enrolled myself into? What content have I been assigned? If I'm a new hire, where do I come to know, oh, I still need to take my data and privacy protection, compliance course here. If I'm a content owner, I have events that I own, content that I own. So, these are all quick shortcuts that I can just go to manage these contents. If I've bookmarked things to come back to later, I have my saved content as well. If I'm a manager of people, I can even see what my directs are doing, right? So I have a quick shortcut to see what, in this case, Alejandro is working on. Or if I want to assign Alejandro something, I can manage my directs and come in and say assign Alejandro, maybe a track for my team that I've created. So yeah, my hub again is everything about you. It's your homepage. It's where if you're not being driven to something directly, you're just kind of coming in through the PlusPlus front door, you're going to land here, and it quickly helps you orient yourself on the site. You can even do searches across all the tabs. So if there's something in particular, say like, Python that you're interested in, it's going to bubble up all the content, be it live events, on-demand content, or people that have a topic that have are tagged, say with Python in this case. Okay. So where I'm going to go to next is tracks. So tracks are those longer arc experiences that you may set up. And again, something like onboarding is a good example, or in this case that I'm going to dive into a core manager development training that I've put together. So in this case, you can see here, you can cover image, you have your various tags, title, you can have your description here of what people can expect when they're taking this track. And then I can come down to the summary and I can see, here's all the pieces of content that are going to be involved as I move through this track. And, in this case, I've organized it into topics. In the case of maybe onboarding, it's organized maybe into days or weeks. And either way, it's helping kind of give a frame of reference of to somebody as they're moving through it, what they're going to be needing to do. At a glance with the summary, I can see stuff that maybe I've already completed. I can see something that I'm in progress on. If something was overdue, it would be marked in red. So it also helps give me at a glance as like a learner or someone that's been assigned to this, kind of where I am, just at a glance. Tracks can be taken, either solo. So I can jump into, be assigned this track or opt into this track and move through it at kind of my own, maybe my own pace. Or tracks can be turned into a cohort experience where it's a scheduled experience that I'm running through, say, in this case, from September 12th to September 19th, and I'm enrolled into it probably with a whole bunch of other people. The nice thing about the cohort experience is that you can also tie a Slack channel to it, right? So if I just quickly come back here and I go and schedule a track, I can name it what I want. It will auto create a Slack channel, but if I want to call it something different, I can call it something different. And if I leave it blank, it doesn't create a Slack channel. But this is actually creating a Slack channel for you. And then when you enroll people into the track or they enroll themselves, if it's something that you're allowing people to opt into on their own, it will auto add them to the Slack channel that's been built for this track. And then when I come into the track, I can simply hit publish. Or if I have like events that I want specifically, taken at a certain time, I can say, I'm going to schedule this one and I'm going to hold this one on, in this case, October 11th. And even though it falls outside of the range I've indicated here, we allow that sort of flexibility. It's really kind of up to you. Or you can leave them unscheduled and let people pick when they want to go to the event, which I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. Other things to cover is, any assignment to the track is available on the track itself. So I can come in here and I can see everybody that's been assigned to the track, who they are, their title, department, all of this information that we get about people. It's important to call out. Typically, will come from your HR system. So, whether it be Workday or SuccessFactors or Bamboo or whatever it is you might use, we'll have an integration there. So we're pulling in pretty much as real time as it gets information about your people. And then even through that, and I can talk about this a little bit later if we have time, you can create sort of automated workflows. So it's like if you have a new hire track, you can say, hey, I want new hires to get assigned to this track automatically, and we'll look at their hire date and assign them appropriately. But you can see through this reporting, I can see this, Susie, who actually I'm logged in as, is 20% way through this track and last engaged with it on August 13th. And if I click in, I can see what Susie's completed and not yet completed from the track. Managers will also, you briefly saw that manager portal. Managers would also be able to check in on their direct reports on stuff that they've been assigned to. So say if it's an onboarding track, they could see, how their new hire is progressing through an onboarding track. Another interesting view is actually just being able to see the progress, or how many people that have been assigned to content in your track have completed that content. So it's a good way of being able to see, where are people falling off or not completing content, or if you have optional content on the track, how many people are actually completing that optional content. So for example, like this piece of content in here, you can see it's marked as optional. And if, maybe no one's completing the optional content, so it allows you to kind of view that as well. If I'm looking at the actual experience of the learner, see here is I've started this experience, and I have kind of my table of contents on the left hand side here. I'm progressing through the track on this page. In this case, this is a video, and I can just watch this video in the track, and you can see there it was some of our video formats that we support, and we support pretty much all of them. We can do it like auto completion and tracking based on a certain percentage of the way through the videos. So, in this case, I can, there's 14 or 13% of the way through the video I've watched. And as I move through it, you can see there's lots of different options. That one was a video. This one's an external link, in this case, provided by the Harvard Business Review, but maybe it's LinkedIn Learning or some sort of other external platform. And if I open it, it will take me off there, and I can, view the content, but then I, come back to it. And in this case, it marked, you can have it auto mark complete when they open it, or, make them manually mark something is complete. You can embed other tracks in tracks. So, again, this helps not create sort of a disjointed experience for your learners. If there's another track that you want them to take in line with the track, kind of the main track, you can do that. And then, it's easy for them to continue to kind of step through that track. Events can be handled either, as you can see here, I have this event type where I can kind of pick which event I want to go through. Or you can have it in the cohort experience where you actually have like you're going to this event. So a little bit about what event types are, event series, is that there may be times where you have events that you run at a regular cadence, and it makes sense that you want to templatize them. So all you really need to worry about is scheduling them, right? So you're normalizing everything that surrounds sort of the date and the time that the event is run on. So if I just go into a quick edit screen here of this event series, I can see like any event that I schedule is going to carry this title. It's going to have this cover image. It'll have this description, tags, maybe, the same organizer, maybe sometimes the same presenter, maybe not. Any sort of capacity considerations around either online or in person or both can be managed on the event type level. Is there a wait list or not? If I turn that off, there's no wait list now. How long is it? The virtual conference link. So we have, integrations into your VC links. If it's Google, like Google Meet, we can auto create links. Zoom, you can just create a standard one and always have that, available. So anytime you schedule an event, it will inherit that conference link. So notifications, and here's surveys that you can create for your events, and any sort of notifications or attendance policies, like when does enrollment open When does it close? How late can someone drop it off? All of that stuff can be managed and scheduled within PlusPlus. Again, this goes back to that core value of automating to create added value. We're automating things like attendance policies, so you don't have to keep track of that stuff in your head or in a spreadsheet. PlusPlus manages that for you. Auto check-ins. We can do self-auto check-ins when they join via VC. People can self-check-in. When do check-ins open and close? So all of that stuff is managed, in the event series. So when you schedule the event, it's going to inherit all of these settings. And then, so again, if I was to come in and schedule something, you can see now I'm scheduling the event and it's using this event series and it's already pre-filled in all of this information into my event. And then I'm just picking a date, a location and a date and a time, and then I'm scheduling it. And I could even schedule it in bulk, so I could have something that runs, hey, I'm going to have this run every 2 weeks, through the end of the year. And now I'm scheduling 7 events here in one go. It backed out a little too far. Sorry about that. All right, back to my track. All right, so a couple other content items to call out. So we have articles. So articles, and I have 2 of them here that I can show. So articles sound like it's just, hey, this is a place I put text. But actually, articles can be a Confluence page that you embed. Confluence can be an absolute rabbit hole that people go down and get lost in. But in this experience, I really just want to bubble up, maybe this one page or a couple pages. So, people know, hey, this is the important page I need to pay attention to, and I can complete it. The same thing can be said for, let me go back here. Which Google Slides do I want? And so, you can have your Cloud Docs in here, right? And, people can kind of go through the slides or a Google Doc or a sheet. It even works with, spreadsheets. And then you can surround it with text or maybe another video. So there's lots of, articles are actually pretty powerful containers. And yes, be text or be Cloud Docs and things like that. Guides. So back in the day, Google created a framework called Code Lab, which allows sort of technical trainings to be, kind of available to everybody. You don't need to have an expensive, professional authoring tool like, Articulate Rise or something to create a Code Lab. And so we kind of took the spirit of that. We call them guides. These can be authored either in Markdown, which engineers love to do, or they could be authored in a Google Doc. And it's just a really easy way of creating a self-paced sort of e-learning-esque experience for your people to go through. You can have links in here. I've seen people embed videos into these things, images, etc. And it's really clean. And again, the nice thing is that anyone can do it. So it does sort of democratize the e-learning experience. And then speaking of e-learning, if I go into a course, find one here. Here we go. So we support e-learning, SCORM. We, pretty much any supported format, 1.2, 2004, AACC, XAPI, CMI5, PDFs, all of those can be created as an e-learning experience in PlusPlus, and it works like any LMS. And we have really expanded reporting around these as well. So, you can see people's progress to the e-learning, the total time spent the total time they've spent in it, their status, what day, timestamp they completed on, did they pass or fail, was there a score? So all of this information is in PlusPlus and can be exported out of PlusPlus, either through a CSV or API, or we even have an XAPI if you have like an LRS that you want this information streamed to. Any of that data is available. But we have many customers that run their compliance through PlusPlus using our e-learning. And again, you can have those incorporated into a track or have them standalone as well. One thing to call out, if I go into the settings here, all all of our content has the idea of a expert time to complete. E-learning tends to be the one that gets that used the most. So you've been assigned to this and you have 60 days that you need to complete this in this example. We even have a time to expiration. So again, you may be only, this training may be only good for 360 days or 365 days, and then you need to take it again. So, you can have assignments expire, and then you can have an automated rule that reassigns people when those expirations happen. So you can automate a lot of these experiences with e-learning plus. And then with notifications, we have notifications when assignment has been completed, and you can CC people like your managers or even the facilitators. So if you have like an auditor, for compliance that you want to get CC'd on those notifications, that can be done as well. And the last thing here is assessments. So assessments is a way of, and let me see if I can find a good assessment on the platform. So assessments is a way of quizzing on the platform. So you can create your own assessments, and no, this is not the one I wanted. There we go. All right. So these can be things like multiple choice. These can be things like, or is it a short answer that someone plugs in. And then, you can see, in this case, I have an image, and then I ask like a question around it. What is the primary goal of top grading? And then I give, this, identify, and then I can even give feedback, right? So here's feedback because it was right. But, you could also have feedback because it was wrong. In this case, I selected this, and I'm giving feedback why it was wrong. Hey, Ivan, if you could, that would be great. And please hold questions to the end. Appreciate it. So anyways, moving on, that is all about assessments, but it's a powerful little quizzing tool in the platform that is pretty new to PlusPlus, but we're really, kind of excited about it. Last thing here is just our connections tab. This is where you can run your office hour programs, mentorship programs, or ERG programs that you might have. It's also where you can bubble up people that may be topical experts on something that you care about. So again, if I type in something like Python, I can then jump in and say, oh, what does Charlie know? And I can see Charlie's created this content around Python, and Charlie's hosting these mentorship sessions on Python. And Charlie even runs, a core Python event that I may want to check out. So this is all about connecting to the experts within your company. And finally, our dashboard. Our dashboard is where you can run all of your reporting. So this cuts across all of the content in your system. So you can run assignment reporting based on your content. You can make groups of people. So like I can do like a new hire group here in the next 90 days. And so, I'm looking at hire date and a department. And so you can kind of create groups based off of the system data that we're getting from your HR system. And then from that, you can then create sort of automated workflows where it's like, hey, that engineering new hire group that I created, I'm now going to assign them to my engineering onboarding track, right? So anytime someone enters that meets the criteria of the group that I created in my people dashboard, they will get assigned to content that I've set up here. So in this case, I have my engineering new hires 90 days, and I'm assigning them to the track, and it's going to be online, and there's no day offsets. I could do like a day offset of like 30 days. So, they go through a company all onboarding first, and then I assign them 30 days later to another experience. So you can even sort of time delay these assignments through PlusPlus. All right, so I'm right at the 30-minute mark. Were there any questions? Let me see if I see anything in the chat. Nope, no questions in the chat. Were there any questions from the audience? I think you can unmute and ask if there are. Okay, doesn't sound like it. Well, if any questions do come up, please.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Hi, I'm Kate. My question was about track. So I have been using PlusPlus for a little bit of time, so I am familiar with some of these features. Something that I noticed is that we have a need sometimes to update our tracks with new content, but then someone who is assigned won't get a notification that that's been updated. Do you have other like recommendations about how to store that content or set it up on PlusPlus so that folks get notified when there are updates?
Got it. Yeah. So these aren't people that have completed the track. They're actually sort of in progress on it. And
Yeah.
you say maybe add something new or
Right. So for example, we're a tech company, so we're releasing new products, and maybe we want everybody in a group of people to take that. It's probably better to assign them with automated rules somewhere versus like upgrading the track as we go on a rolling basis.
yeah. Yeah. So that would probably be what you just said there would probably be my recommendation in that, especially because I imagine this, again, not having total frame context. And if you're actually already a customer, feel free to book some time with me. I can reach out after and we can kind of deep dive into this, your particular use case. But if it's a scenario where it's like, hey, we've got this update to a system that we're using and we want everyone within this certain org or within this certain group to take it, then yeah, it would be more probably around sort of automation of I have this and I'm going to either take this group and automatically assign people to it either through a workflow or just just a manual step there. But yeah, as far as like the track itself, if you add something new, if I'm in progress with it, it will go towards me needing to complete it, but we don't have any sort of like notification, but that's something we can definitely explore as a potential, feature improvement.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate that answer. And I feel like this session did help me to understand some other options available. So I appreciate it.
Of course. Anyone else? All right. Well, we do have an upcoming talk that's going to be on the 12th. And it's Andrew Barrett. He's going to be leading a discussion on how we best leverage AI in L&D and tech enablement. So very timely. This is through our TechnoCon community that PlusPlus has. And we have lots of good talks there. And that's actually something we can also follow up with if you aren't already a part of TechnoCon. It's a great place where you can meet people, like-minded people or people in the same position that are solving similar problems as you are. And we're always having conversations like these. So it's whether you continue talking to me or not, feel free to explore the community and there's no barrier to entry there. And then again, thank you for your time. If you're interested in digging deeper, feel free to reach out to me at michael@plusplus.co. And yeah, we can set up a time to talk. Bye, everyone.